Before we get into things, I think it's important to say grace. Alright everybody? Father, Son, and Holy Ghosts. He who eats the quickest gets the most. See you suckers, I'm off to Arby's. If you've ever wanted to play Civ 6 while cosplaying as Hope, the angel from the hit movie VeggieTales and Easter Carol, then you've come to the right place. White specializes in playing the game just frustratingly enough to warrant a restraining order, but not quite frustratingly enough for the whole table to beat your face into mashed potatoes, like a Murder on the Orient Express themed episode of Hell's Kitchen. Side effects of playing White include life gain, mediocre token swarm, and enough board wipes to keep even the most my-chemically romanced mono-black players on their toes. Where White really shines through, though, is their ability to smack people's cards off the table like your cat who's still angry at you for touching them too much last night. Sure, basically every other color has options to remove cards, but you have something other colors don't. Religious trauma! And through the power of your unresolved issues with Catholicism, you can fill your deck with more ways to exile people on little to no basis than the actual Catholic Church. Play a card while I have an untapped plane? Exile! Have the gall to play the game? Exile! Thank God they can't touch my lands though, right? Right? Whisper. What do you mean an elephant sat on it? Unfortunately, you unspecialize in everything else that actually matters. Card draw, game closers, counterspells, and the touch of a loved one all seem to avoid the grasp of your tiny little baby hands. Don't worry too much, though. If you gain enough life, everyone just forfeits. It's not like there's an alternate win condition prevalent in the most popular Magic format that everyone has access to or anything. What do you mean commander damage? That being said, there are a few things that White players get to be quirky with. Not many, sure, but at this point we'll take what we can get. These things are exactly picking up and slapping your cards down on the table so many times you'd think your coffee table was a kick drum, and colonizing North America. Seriously, between exiling more creatures than you can shake a stolen historical artifact at to throwing 1/1 soldier tokens at the board until you have enough people to sing the chorus to the hit Disney single Savages from popular and well-known historically accurate film Pocahontas, this color sounds like Christopher Columbus's domain expansion. Pros of playing White include being fair, simulating the American Revolutionary War, and being healthier than the Queen of England. Seriously, she's lived for forever. She died when? Cons of playing White include people falling asleep at the table, religious trauma, religious drama, and occasionally religious mama. If you do decide to pick up Mono White in Commander, Wizard's favorite format, here's some commanders that you can commit historically accurate genocides with. God Eternal Okrata is great for when you want to remind your opponents why they hate Vigilance, that Dimir doesn't have a monopoly on the undead, and that there are a hell of a lot of creatures to cast in White. Plus, it's always fun to play Plants vs. Zombies the way that Richard Garfield intended. Playing with Yoshimaru and Kaleth may be the only socially acceptable way to play Mono White. Sure, you're practically just playing how high can I count until you collapse into dust, like some twisted version of Count Count, infamous vampire from Sesame Street, but it's okay! Looking at the goodest boy and goodest pony gives me enough undistilled cute aggression to overthrow a small to medium-sized nation. Or, of course, if you have too many friends, you can play Elshnorn, Mother of Machines. If they don't leave the table by the time you take her out of the deck box, don't worry. They'll leave somewhere between the 9th and 42nd enter the battlefield trigger in the same turn. That's about it. Now, if you'll excuse me, an elephant sat on my Gaia's cradle, and that means that I can't afford to pay rent now, so I need to make some quick money. Maybe the blue players have some ideas. In the meantime, pull up your britches, put orphans in ditches, and leave your opponents in stitches. But most importantly, remember, I am coming for your soul ring.